Welcome to the American Dream in the Eyes of Immigrants podcast. I am your host, Heidy De La Cruz, and I am on the mission to change the narrative of immigration, one immigrant story at a time. Okay, Leticia, see, now I'm nervous.
Why?
Thank you so much for being willing to come on and tell your story. So let's start off with a little bit about you, your background, because you came from Brazil, and then what events led you to move here?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the podcast. You know, it's amazing to connect with you. Yes, I came from Brazil when I was 18 years old.
Okay.
And the reason was because I play I play tennis. And in Brazil, you cannot, technically you cannot do sports as you do in America.
Okay.
And pursue a study. So in universities there, they have the opportunity to play sports, but it's not competitive like here. And I always wanted to learn English because I didn't pass my class in my English school in Brazil.
Okay.
And then I was like, I really want to learn English and know that I can speak. So then that was a little thing that I wanted to do. So I did it.
Okay, so you said that playing the sports in Brazil is different than here. So it's like either or, like you either go to school or play sports, or how is that?
Yes, you can play sports, but I think like the universities in Brazil, it's more like a party time.
Okay.
Yeah, and here it's more serious,
Okay.
People are on scholarships, and they get paid to play.
Oh.
So, just with scholarships and tuitions and help to go to school. In Brazil, it's not like that. It's just for fun, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. And so were you the only one who came from your family when you came at 18?
Yes, I am the only girl in the family, and I was also the only one that said, I want to go live abroad. Didn't know English whatsoever. And
brave. That is really brave. Like, it really surprises me. Like, when people say that, like, I wanted to leave and I left without knowing the language, and then here they are. That is crazy.
Yes.
So you came because you wanted to learn English. So you came for like school, or how was that?
Yes, I came because of tennis. Like I said, I didn't know English, and to go to play for a 4-year university here, you have to do TOEFL and SAT and do good.
Yeah.
Since I didn't know English, I wasn't able to do that, and I had a dream to go to California. So I ended up going to a junior college for 3 years, and then I play on the team there. The first year I just took basically credits just to be able to learn the language a little bit more. And then after that, I did assistant coach, and it was more like at the junior college first, and then after that I transferred to a 4-year university in Hawaii.
In Hawaii? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah, I chose the good places.
Yes, definitely.
Yes, yeah. So I went to Hawaii for my other year to get my bachelor's. I play on the team there too. And it's been a long journey, but it was just all because of tennis, and tennis opened so many doors for me. So it's just learning the language, meeting people across, the world, and it's been a great transport for me to learn everything that I know today.
Yeah. So how long were you in Hawaii?
I was in Hawaii for 3 years and a half.
Okay.
Yes, I played, and the same thing, when you play college or when you play college sports, you never want to leave. So I didn't want to leave.
Yeah.
So my 2 years in college that I graduated, I didn't want to just leave tennis. So I coached. And then in Hawaii, it happened the same thing. So I was helping with social media. I was helping the team with the social media part of it. And I was also just coaching the girls on the team. And just didn't want to leave the sport that I grew up playing.
Yeah. How what did you study? What did you get your bachelor's in?
I got in communication studies in Hawaii.
Cool.
Yes.
Nice.
And journalism in my junior college.
In your junior college. Okay. And so after leaving Hawaii, did you go back to California?
I did. So after, as an immigrant and international student, after you graduate, you have 1 year to work, which is called OPT. So I did my OPT. I did have my years after my bachelor. I did half year in Hawaii as the social media manager for the team, which goes under my degree. And then after that, I was like, I don't see a lot of opportunities here. I love tennis, but, I want to grow professionally.
Yeah.
So then I moved back to where I went to junior college, and then I got an internship with NBC, the local NBC there, NBC Palm Springs. And I was just having a blast, learning new things and rediscovering myself, because after sports, that's what you do. You reinvent yourself.
Okay. Did you have to go back to Brazil?
Out these years that I was able to go back, I was always going back or my family would come. But every year that I spend in the United States, I always go back at least twice a year. So how was the very first time going back to Brazil after moving to the United States? I think it was like, I don't remember exactly, but I remember I had a lot of fun because I was able to see all my friends, and I was here for only 6 months the first time I went back. So being able to see all my friends and just, go party and
party.
Do stuff. Definitely the parties. But
that's
yes.
funny. Okay. And so before moving to the United States, because you knew you wanted to come here, did you have any expectations of like how life would be here before?
I knew it was going to be hard because I was very, very close to I am very close to my family.
Yeah.
So I knew it was going to be very hard. When you want something, you just go for it.
Yeah.
But I just knew it was going to be hard. Yeah. And I already expect that. But then once you get here and like have the family out and just being able, thank God to technology, right?
Yeah.
Just being so far away from the family is really hard. And you think it gets better, and it doesn't really.
Yeah, it doesn't. And your family is still in Brazil, right?
Yes.
So you're still just here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
On my own.
On your own. What was your first cultural shock that you experienced here?
I mean, definitely the language.
Is
that culture shock? I mean,
yeah.
I guess, but definitely the language. I was telling Gia the other day, my boss, so it's like, my first 6 months or my first months in the US, I lost close to 30 pounds because I was too shy to ask for food.
Oh, no.
I didn't know how to ask for food. So I was basically
starving
and just eating like once a day. So I lost so much weight. And I remember one time I went with my host parents to get like his motorcycle or stuff. And I remember I got out of the car and I got so dizzy that I had to hold on because I didn't have anything to eat until it was like 4 p.m. or something like that. And then they said, like, oh, maybe we should go to Subway. Yeah, let's go to Subway. So I was like, I looked at, that Subway, and I was just
saw glory. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
oh
so definitely the language.
Wow. That is crazy. I'm sorry that because usually people say like when they get here, like they gain weight because they're eating so much, right, of the food. But you were so shy to ask. So how did you get here to Florida? So you moved to Hawaii and then you went back to Cali. How did you? What brought you to Florida?
Yeah, so I was in Southern California doing my internship, and then I had two choices basically. I could just start my master's and get more experience, or I had to go back home because my time here for my visa was done. So I said, I need more experience and I don't want to go back to Brazil. As much as I love my family and being home, I don't want to go back. So then I started my master's in San Francisco, in a very good school there that really allowed me to do hands-on and have hands-on experience. So then I graduated there after a lot of times because that was when COVID happened.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it was a whole story, you know, and then after COVID happened, I went back home. I was stuck there for 10 months. And then my visa was about to expire and I had to come back to the United States to start keep my master's going, just to finish my master's. So then I couldn't come back from Brazil because the borders were closed.
Oh, yeah.
And I just couldn't come in. So, but my visa was also expiring. So I decided I wanted to go to Chile and quarantine there for two weeks. And then I came back to the United States. And then I finished my master's and I was, you know, just what do I do now? You know, and I was pretty lost in a sense of what to do, you know, once you graduate. That's a lot of people have those feelings.
Yeah.
So then, you know, I was kind of helping my cousin that has a marketing company in Brazil, and he had a few clients in Florida. So I was like, you know, I think it would be a good idea to go to Florida. And my parents always wanted me to move to Florida because it's much closer to Brazil, so they will be able to come often. So then I just said, you know, I'm just gonna do it. So I went back to Southern California, was there with my host parents for a couple weeks, and then my parents were able to travel to the United States. And then I packed up my car and we drove across country.
Wow, to Florida. And here you are.
And here I am.
Wow. So what did you get your master's in?
I got it in communications and media technologies.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
okay, cool. That's really cool. I'm big on education, so that's why I asked.
Yeah.
All right. So how long have you been here in Florida?
I got here in January 2022.
Okay.
Yes, 2022. That's how when I got here.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. So, is there anything that you wish you knew before moving to the United States?
I think everything happens for a reason. Yeah. I wish I knew that I would find amazing people on the right time, I would say, because I had a lot of support. Even though my family were not here, they were supporting me from far away. I had the support of my team from every single school that I played and coached for. I have the support of my host parents, which, you know, I consider them my American family. And, you know, just to be fine that I will have support along the way, you know, because I was very scared. I have always been alone a lot. But I always felt like I had that support system here too.
Okay. And so you mentioned you had like a lot of support. So I wanted to ask if you did have like any non-immigrants help you when you first got here, and how was that?
Yes. Well, my host parents.
Yeah.
They are Americans. I lived with them for my entire junior college career. So 3 years I was there. And then I moved to Hawaii. They would travel there to visit.
No way.
Yeah. They are like, I love them so much and I miss them so much. They are incredible. So, and then whenever I got back from Hawaii, I went back to Southern California. And I was living with them again. Yes. Yeah. It was just, they're incredible. They are incredible. So
yeah. What do you like about living here
in the United States? I like the quality of life that I can get.
Okay.
Yes, I like that. That's a big difference for me from Brazil. I like my freedom.
Okay.
Not that I don't have that in Brazil, but I just like being able to do anything that I want, basically just like go out and explore, you know. Like when I was living in California and Hawaii, my favorite things to do was going to the mountains, you know, and just hiking for hours and hours. just going out and, feeling safe, because Brazil, it's even though I am from a city where it's pretty safe, I would say, compared to the bigger cities, but just feeling safe, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And is there anything you miss about living back home?
My family, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Just spending, Sundays with them, and having lunch, because that's something that we do, just gathering everyone and having lunch together and dinner and just hanging out with my parents, just spending time with them.
Yeah.
I definitely miss that.
So I probably should have asked this in the beginning, but I want to go back because you came when you were 18. So you remember a lot about Brazil. So I should have asked you, like, how was life for Leticia in Brazil?
Life was good in Brazil. I mean, I come from sports, so my background in sports all day long. So I always been very determined, very schedule oriented. But growing up, I also party a lot. So I think I kind of like started partying way too young.
Oh, okay.
I think I was like 15 when I really was like, I want to go to clubs and I want to do this and that. But life was good. I had a lot of friends that, I'm still friends to this day.
Nice.
So we always hang out. I was always like around people, I'm going to say I had a very good life in Brazil, very comfortable life in Brazil,
Yeah. But so the wanting to learn English is what really like pushed you to leave Brazil pretty much?
Yes. And the sports. Yes. Yeah. It was this story is kind of funny, but I used to take English lessons with my dad. And we had a test to do, and he makes fun of me to this day, even though he doesn't speak and I do. But we had a test to do, and he passed the test and I didn't. And my dad is much older than me. So I was very embarrassed, and I was very determined to learn English. That was a dream of mine.
Okay. So how many languages do you know?
Just Portuguese and English. And to be honest, the whole entire office where I work, they always speak Spanish. So I'm picking up so fast.
You're just picking it up?
Spanish, yeah. And I always had such a hard time speaking Spanish because it's just so similar. I mean, some words are similar.
I was going to ask. There's some similar words, right?
Yes. Yeah. So now, like the entire office, I can understand a lot, but my speaking's getting much better. Of course, I still mix it up, but I think by next year I'll be fluent.
Okay, next year you'll be fluent in Spanish.
I think so.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, you have people to practice with, so there you go. Yeah. So, what are you up to these days?
Just work a bunch. I always say I'm very I like my peace a lot, and I don't want to lose that for anything. But I am also a go-getter, so I like working hard, and I don't mind spending hours and hours and sleeping nights, and just to build something that I'm gonna be proud of.
Yeah.
And to make my parents proud. I think that's like my biggest, what fits me the most.
Okay. And I want to ask, what does the American dream mean to you?
I think the American dream for me means just being able to have a comfortable life. Nothing that it's exagerado. There you go. Me test my Spanish. I know, right? Nothing, like I don't need abundance, but I want to have a comfortable life and create something that I'm proud of. Like I said, just building the empire, and having the freedom to go home whenever I want, to be able to travel back to Brazil whenever I want.
Okay.
And just having that freedom, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. And so you are a podcast producer.
Yes.
How did you get into that?
Well, podcasting, it comes a long way. I mean, I as I mentioned, I went back from COVID. I went back to Brazil, and I was bored. So It was COVID times. A lot of people, we were spending a lot of time at home. I was in summer break from my master's, and I was like, man, I don't know what to do. I want to learn something new.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, Dad, can we build like a podcast studio-ish in my closet? And so he's like, okay, what are you going to do? I was like, I have this amazing idea. I want to learn podcast. I'm going to learn podcast. And I'm going to do a podcast again on former international student athletes. So I created the whole thing. I learned how to do everything. And the entire summer I was just digging into podcasting and just learning everything about it. And then I came back to the United States to pursue my master's, to finish my master's. And my school was just really good at giving that producing side of storytelling and stuff like that. I always wanted to be into sports, sports broadcasting and reporter. But a few things happened along the way, and it just shifted a little bit. And I don't know, I just learned how to tell stories, I guess.
Yes.
And just be curious. So being on the other side today is kind of funny. But
yeah, I was going to make a comment like she's normally on the other side, yes. But today she's the guest.
Yes. So I just got into podcasting, and, I am in a job where my bosses are incredible, and they support the idea of creating this whole podcast thing.
Yes, love it. So what do you like most about podcast producing or production?
I like a lot about the technical part,
okay,
but I also like sitting down with the people that we host and just coming up with questions and just telling people's story and just hearing, because a lot of people, we have so many stories, and people like telling stories. People like telling your story. So I think my favorite part is just sitting down with the host, and then after that, just like coming along, while I'm behind the scenes just watching. I can see like all the questions that we kind of design come to life.
And how many shows are you producing right now?
Right now we have 6 or 7. Wow. I think the 7 is coming up. So.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's been good.
I'm doing 1 and it's a lot of work.
Trust me. Yes. A lot of sleepless nights and a lot of editing.
A lot of editing. Yes, that's not my favorite part.
Yeah. I definitely spend a lot of time in that. And,
I like this. I like being the host. I like, or being a guest, because I do guest work. That's what I like. But the whole editing and the promoting, no, that's not my...
I really like social media, and I really learned that I don't like as much as I thought I liked. To be quite honest. I just spend a lot of time in it, and sometimes I get home and my brain is literally fried, because it's so like the times that I spend on the computer and editing, and it's very... I don't know how many videos I edit a week. It's just way too much that I ever expected I would do.
Yeah.
And short form is like, it's 1 minute, but sometimes it takes you 1 hour to edit
to get that video. 1 minute video. It takes a long time, guys. Content creators, my hat goes off to you, because
it does take a lot.
Yeah.
But the editing part of the podcast, I really enjoy. It feels like I go into a bubble.
Yeah.
And, whatever people call me or text me, I don't really see it, because I really get into the zone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Well, where can people get in contact?
Yes. Well, our company is called Pod Media Lab. We are located in Orlando, and now we have... just people producing podcasts, which it's amazing. I think you're doing amazing. And just telling immigrant stories and all the production side. And I'm very happy about everything. But Pod Media Lab, we are everywhere across all social medias, even though it's not my favorite, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
So Pod Media Lab on Instagram and our website podmedialab.com, and there you're gonna find my personal page and all the podcasts that we have, and it's incredible. So
I will link your social media links in the descriptions and the show notes, and so people can get in contact.
Amazing. Sounds great.
Awesome. Well, Leticia, thank you
thank you
so much for sharing your story, your journey. I had no idea you went to Hawaii, so I learned something new today.
Yes, girl, and Hawaii is amazing.
I know. I want to visit. There's so many places I want to visit. I feel like I say that in every single episode now. Like, I want to visit. I need to start traveling. That's what I need to do. But thank you so much for this, for sharing your story and your journey, and for all that you do.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and congrats.